Afternoon, long weekend, of course, the 4th of July. And boy, I am so lucky. I feel so privileged. We have a guest in studio, Pastor Walter Chick McGill. And Pastor, you are a Vietnam veteran, and you have quite a story to tell.
Yes, I do.
Tell us a little bit about what you did. I'm going to tilt the hand a little bit and tell folks that this endeavor, while it's kind of ongoing, actually took better than a year. But tell us what you did.
Well, I started walking with the American flag from Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina in April of 2014. I walked every step across this nation carrying Old Glory until I reached Santa Monica Pier in California. My flag is called the Cross Country Flag. It's the first American flag in history hand carried on foot by an American-born veteran.
That is awesome. And as we were talking, like you say, this wasn't just a 2 or 3 month adventure. This was 362 years. Days, years.
Well, it took me 233 days of walking. I took Saturdays and Sundays off.
Sure.
I'm also a pastor, and I visited churches and took weekends off. But I averaged about 14 miles a day. I only missed 3 days of walking because of rain. You know, when your feet get wet, you're prone to blisters, so I didn't want to get blisters and have some downtime. But along the way, I encountered heat indexes over 100. I walked through blizzards, sub-zero weather, and I walked 2 weeks through the Mojave Desert. I'm telling you, some of the challenges were just amazing.
Well, it's quite an amazing story, and we're going to take a break right now. Get a little more music coming your way, and then we're going to be back in just a bit, and we're going to talk a little more about what you're doing.
Afternoons with Uncle Joe on My Country 101.7.
It is Uncle Joe in the air chair on this finally Friday afternoon. Again, joined in studio by Pastor Walter Chick McGill. And Pastor, you're a Vietnam veteran, and we're talking about a little endeavor here that you took on, walking across the United States carrying an American flag. And I'll tell you what, I truly mean this when I say it. I feel blessed to be in your presence here. This is a very important weekend in the history of our country, a very important holiday, and I really feel like God sent you here for a purpose, because I'm, personally, I am worried to death about our country. And, when you came in and I hear your story, and it gives me hope. It really does.
Well, as I was walking across America, I was promoting a new birth of freedom and integrity in America. And we hear a lot of cliches being thrown around these days. And whether you agree or whether you don't agree, we love our country. And we want to see our country become great again. And, it's the veterans, it's the citizens of America, it's all of us that make what we are. And what we need to do, in my opinion, is get ourselves back to God, get our families together around the family altar, and be reverent before the face of God, because we were created by a supreme being who loves us and cares about us. And God loves our country, but He cannot bless us unless we surrender ourselves to Him and respect Him as we should as human beings.
Well, I totally agree with you. And it's not that God has failed our country. We have failed God. And like you say, we have to get back to being a godly country again. And, there's a lot of folks that say, they care about each other and this and that and the other. And a lot of it is just idle talk. We need to get back to a time when people do care about each other. And when they say, Walter, I appreciate you, I love you, and I thank you for what you did. And you need to mean it.
Yes. We have a pace car as we are in the Crawford County here. You may see us driving this 2004 Ford Taurus wagon that has a patriotic graphics wrap on it. And part of our message is, if you talk the talk, then you have to walk the walk.
Well, you've done that.
Well, it was a radical illustration, really. You know, I had 10 pair of shoes during this year of walking. I did not wear out one pair of shoes because I rotated those pairs of shoes.
Sure.
And at the end of the walk, I actually gave away 4 pair of those shoes, and they're still useful. And I'm still wearing some of those shoes, actually. And on Sunday, July 3rd and July 4th, Independence Day, I will be walking 9 miles through the Pittsburg area, carrying the flag, saluting all of my fellow Americans as an Independence Day salute to America, one nation under God, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is very moving. I honestly, I'm touched, and I hope that people will make sure on Sunday and Monday to watch out for you.
Okay.
And to look for you. And I know obviously your mission continues, and we appreciate that. Is there anything that folks can do to help you carry on what you're doing?
Well, I just covet everybody's prayers. You know, when we were walking across America, we were sabotaged several times by those who are not of the same mind. You know, when I was young, and I'm 70 years old now, when I was young, you took your hand and put it over your heart whenever you heard the national anthem, banner. You know, and you respected the flag. You didn't let the flag touch the ground. You didn't let it get wet in the rain and so forth and so on. I was raised in a military family, very patriotic and very respectful to our nation. And you know, the American flag to me represents the people, we the people. And we the people have to make a difference. We need to personally take responsibility and get our lives straightened out before God, before our family members, before our friends, and work together, pulling the rope in the same direction to put this country back together again. That's what I pray for. That's what I hope everyone will be trying to do.
And that was put so eloquently. It's a whole lot easier, the old illustration, it's a whole lot easier to push a rock up a hill if everybody's pushing in the same direction.
That's what we're faced with. It's a big stone that's trying to roll down on top of us. But if we join hands together, you know, many hands make light work.
Exactly.
And so if we pull together, we're going to overcome this big stone that's trying to push us down.
Well, again, Walter, I am so glad that you stopped in today, and hopefully somebody will hear our conversation today, and it will move them to think about what they're doing in their lives personally, and what we need to be doing in our lives politically, because ultimately, at the end of the day, we've got to get this country back on course and straightened out.
That's true, and I'm glad to be here in Crawford County. My wife's brother lives here, and that's sort of what brought us here, and we've been here so many times before. My wife's from Kansas. We walked through Overland Park where we met before we were married, and we received a nice greeting from the city hall there. You know, Kansas is a great state. I'm from Tennessee, and I have to be careful, you know. When I walked through Kansas, when I walked through Kansas before, I had to wear a Kansas hat. When I walked through Tennessee, I wore a Tennessee hat. Every time I changed states, I changed hats, you know.
People in this part of the country it's a real mixed bag here. You know, you'll get some Kansas people, you get some K-State people. You'll even get some of those from those Tiger folks over, next to us. So yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying.
But now I'm wearing my Vietnam veteran cap, and I just encourage people, if you see me carrying the flag around, just stop and say hello. I like to visit with people. You won't hold me up. I can talk for 5 or 10 minutes, and you won't even get a word in edgewise.
There you are. Well, again, Walter, thank you so much for what you're doing, and God bless you as you continue on in the journey that you're taking on, and I know that you're going to do well for us.
Well, God bless America. I'm so glad to see those signs here in Pittsburg.
Exactly.